Hello out there, and thanks for joining us. Welcome to Political Platform. You can join us on the program through three major platforms of DAR Communications, Power FM, Africa Independent Television, and our YouTube channel, the Political Platform on YouTube channel. I'm Okiri Agbonsoremi, always glad to have you on the program, as well as sharing your views through Political Platform at darkgroup.com. We always have the privilege of sharing those thoughts of yours that hit you when the political developments are on. The inability of the political parties to conduct free and fair primaries has become a significant challenge across Nigeria. Notably, the APC, the ADC, and the NDC are at the forefront of this issue. Of course, the other political parties mainly use affirmations and preferences by party leaders to select their candidates. Many contestants have voiced complaints that party leaders have already selected their preferred candidates before the primaries even took off. From Lagos to Abuja, Kogi to Edo, Adamawa to Rivers, and through Jigawa and in nearby Nasarawa State, the complaints are consistent across various locations and political parties. We will take you to some of these locations to highlight the ongoing issues leading up to the 2027 elections. And our guests of the program today, Dachung Bagos, we earlier, the last few weeks ago, we tried to take him online, but it was not possible because of network. He's joining us this morning. He's an APC stalwart and a former member of the House of Representatives. It is good that he won his primaries this time, but of course, he will tell us how he navigated the terrain to be able to get in there. Recently, protests erupted in parts of Western Nigeria, especially in the Ibadan and Abeokuta yesterday, as residents and civil society groups demanded the release of abducted students and 2 teachers, 46 students and 2 teachers. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, who was sidelined during the recent visit by the federal government delegation, appears to be overwhelmed by the situation and has called for calm. Of course, voices from certain critics around the political environment, particularly former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, suggest that it is not well at all with the coordinated efforts that should be done by everyone to be sure that the children and the teachers are released. Ayo Fayose was very categorical that he suspects that the governor, Seyi Makinde, had a hand in the kidnapping. That was vibrating all over the place. And within the ADC is one that we saw the rubbles. It's like it was like some volcanic eruption that has been boiling down and just coming up with former SGF coming up to say that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar waggled his way through, bulldozed his way through to get the ticket of the ADC. Well, my colleagues are here. Uju Eje is right here with me. Uju, how are you reading?
Somebody once said, or I have also heard it, repeatedly, that when politicians complain, it's because their own plans did not go through. Maybe the other one successfully, carried his own plans through. So it's a matter of who plans the other, or who, I don't want to use the word, the other. And then the other one will not start crying.
But when the process is when it's seen to be flawed.
No, of course.
People will say,
I was going to come to that,
Yeah.
you know, and it's such a big shame because I have been talking to some politicians that I know. The thing cuts across board. All the political parties, there are complaints of manipulations, complaints of party leaders having preferred candidates and ensuring that, you know, in a way, their own preferred candidates got the tickets. The one of NDC is still being awaited. There is no clarity yet concerning the one of NDC. And I ask why. These primaries took place last week. Why have the aspirants not known whether
even the
they
APC
still
actually
honor-
also, even the APC also said that until they are cleared, that whatever thing has been released that people have seen,
they are on their own.
They are on their own, that they are reviewing.
And of course, you can imagine what that review would be. You can imagine that a lot of horse trading, a lot of deals are going on underneath. And it is sad because at this time of our democracy, we should be able to come up with processes that are free and fair. 1903, we were saying nascent democracy. Now that democracy is evolving, but it is evolving on a path that
like
people are not comfortable with. It is evolving on a path that that buries credibility, if I may put it that way. And people are worried that this democracy that was hard fought for, that men went to prison for, some people died in the process, is being manipulated, is being messed up by people who were not even part of the agitation. It is sad.
Now, Mustafa Mohammed is also here on the program. Mustafa, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I think Babashir should understand and know his place. Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, has never lost in any primary
elections.
Exactly. And then secondly, he was not just a former vice president. He was
that appears to be a certificate.
Exactly. He was also an elected governor before Obasanjo chose him to be
yes.
his
vice
running mate. You know, it's only in a country like Nigeria that losers will not want to accept the fact that they have lost. You know, the good sportsmanship is not there in Babashir. That's why he went out to attack the former vice president. But the truth of the matter is, in any contest, there must be a winner and there must be a loser. I'm not sure if Babashir himself would have put the kind of resources Atiku would always put during primary election. And of course, if he doesn't want the ADC, he also has the opportunity of going to other political parties because the window is there. We just learned that Pantami is now the sole candidate of the PDP in Gombe State. Jonathan, the senator from Nasarawa, I think is of the Labour Party now with the gubernatorial candidate. So I think people should exploit the opportunities they have now to move to other parties than to throw mud at other people.
Let's take it one after the other. It seems that politics is overshadowing the urgent situation involving the kidnapped children and teachers. It's like we are playing high wire politics with
the former Ekiti governor wants just to be relevant. I think the authorities should arrest him. It's a weighty allegation that you say a sitting governor has a hand in the kidnappings of these children.
Yeah,
remember what happened.
He was very careful in his choice of words. He said he supposed that there's a likelihood that the governor is orchestrating.
It's a very weighty allegation. A governor who is already in a very tight corner. Don't forget that he has aspiration too, that he wants to fulfill, and he's facing this kind of situation. Obviously, I would hate to think that he's enjoying it.
You know, the attitude of the Jonathan's administration when the Chibok girls were abducted was that of denial. That was what their body language was showing. And they fought the former governor of Borno State, who's now the current vice president, Kashim Shettima, tooth and nail. In fact, we've had words of insult at that moment, only for the entire insecurity to overwhelm and become the cause of Jonathan's downfall. So we should not treat the issue of insecurity with kid gloves.
That's why I'm worried about the political nature it has taken. I mean, the federal government delegation we did an analysis yesterday. There's always the jump. If there's a crisis, a flooding, there's insecurity, the governor jumps to Abuja to come and brief the president. And I remember Amechi saying yesterday, it should be the other way around.
Yes.
That the president should not wait for anybody to come to Abuja. But since that is the pattern that they have established, it is said that Makinde also snubbed Abuja and didn't care to brief the president properly. So when the delegation led by the chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, and the NSA and the others went through, they sidelined the governor. I mean, these are very, very, very serious issues that one would have thought that from the local government to the state, to the federal government, everything should be on ground to help. They can quarrel after they have done the rest.
You know, the nation's security architecture, internal affairs are actually the affairs of the Nigeria Police Force. And the police command in the state should be seen to be doing more than enough. It's only when they fail, like in all other states, that the military will come in. And if you look at the map of Nigeria, the southwest itself is not as big as one state in Nigeria like Kogi, Sokoto, or even Niger. So if works would be done as regards sweeping the forest, where will those terrorists be hiding with those kids? Within 48 hours, if they can come this forest, they can get them out. It's
do we even need 48 hours? I mean, if this thing happened in daytime, the one in Maiduguri happened in daytime. Students were in school, and it happened in daytime. There's no quick response. In fact, sometimes you feel ashamed to talk about it.
There are some conspiracy theories that we may not want to go into at this point in time, because some people said when they were moving the Chibok girls at that time, that all the soldiers needed was the command, but there was nobody to give them the command on what to do. And that delayed their actions, that delayed their response. And anyway,
I agree with you that we probably have those things, but that happened long ago. In this case, did we learn from it? I mean, by now we should have some templates down. Despite all the effort, all the other efforts we are doing, in case it happens, this is what we should do.
We talked about safe schools. All of this talk about safe schools about 2 weeks ago. It just shows you that most of these things are just mouth-fed. They're not practical. They're not practicalized by the authorities that are mouthing them. It's just to score cheap political points. Where are the safe schools? Where are the processes to ensure the safe schools? If not, by now, those children would have been located. And then let's look at these little ones. You're talking of, he snubbed them, they too snubbed him.
Yes.
Should we be looking at that right now? Don't our leaders have a conscience? Look at those little children. Look at those little children. Look at the hell that they are going through at their age. When we were their age, we were playing all over the place. Sometimes you wear your pants up, but look at what they are going through. Are they the ones that brought Nigeria to where Nigeria is? Why should they be made to suffer from this age? And then you're talking about you're talking about ego, you're talking about things that should not be considered at this point. What should be paramount is rescuing those children. And then after that, like you said, you can go and do your rough political fight. But please get those children and the teachers back.
The elites will hardly feel what others are feeling. They hardly care because their children are mostly schooling abroad. Go to places like UK. Get the statistics of Nigerian students. The United States, Malaysia, Indonesia. The kids, the children of the elites are all over. The same elite who messed the education system and budget in Nigeria. And I can bet 90% of them were beneficiaries of free education. From even before the Awolowo time, to when the Awolowo, down to Shagari's period when he implemented free education. They had uniform, they had books, they had scholarship. Unfortunately, the same people became policy makers. They destroyed the education system and budget implementation. As young as nursery school kids are being taken abroad to go and school. But the truth of the matter is God has a way of punishing some of these policy makers. Now their kids come back.
The reports are not actually so good, although there's protest. We reported just now the protests in Abeokuta, in Ibadan. But what is actually happening beneath the behind the scene? We are told through media reports, very credible media reports, that Mrs. Rachel Alamu, who is the principal of the community high school, Ahoro Esinle, in the Oyo State Orire local government, who is one of them adopted, has reportedly refused to says that she told her husband through text messages and WhatsApp communication that they have refused to negotiate. They said they don't want to negotiate with anybody except the government. And her husband is not just an ordinary. It's not. I'm not saying that the taxi driver is not good. It's not a human being. But I mean that he's a professor. Professor Wole Alamu, a lecturer at the Department of Forestry Resources Management at Ladoke Akintola University. And he is the one sharing the information that what they heard from the through WhatsApp communication is that they don't want to negotiate with anybody. They say they want to negotiate with government and government alone. It goes to the point we made on this program that Nigeria is a field for resource raising, fundraising for for bandits. So they go to soft targets and they say, no, we know these teachers cannot pay anything. What are we going to be negotiating with them? Can they pay the billions that we have? So they go to where they want the government to come, and then the government is put under pressure by citizens. We are on the street, we are shouting on TV and radio, we are making all this, this is shouting on top of our voices on the streets, and they deal with the children mercilessly and send the videos to us. So the government is put under pressure to negotiate.
Let's call a spade a spade. In this matter, the government cannot claim that the citizens are putting them under pressure. We're talking of about 17, 18 days after this thing happened. From the onset, the government should have made moves. The government should have done something. Whether through the police, through the military, the way we have been doing, some appreciable progress should have been made by now. I mean, 17, 18 days after, there's nothing like citizens. But in fact, citizens have been even patient. They have been patient. By now, citizens should be putting more pressure on government, because it's the primary duty of government to ensure the safety of every Nigerian life, especially those vulnerable children.
For how long can we continue to have these problems and lament? Like I said the other day, how many policemen do we have per maybe 100 citizens? Look at the statistics. They're talking about over 200 million Nigerians. Yeah. And one of the biggest problems in our security architecture is the inability to guard the parameters. Instead, individuals are guarded. If you guard the parameters, you block the movement of the bad boys and bad elements, or whatever name you're going to call them. But if you are guarding the individual, the bad boys can move around freely. And you can see the size of the country and the ungoverned spaces that we have all over Nigeria, and nobody's saying anything about that.
Unfortunately, this is where we are. I will take a quote from Professor Alamu. Since May 15, we have not heard from my wife, aside from the videos she was compelled to produce by the captors and sent to us. I mean, you can imagine the kind of trauma that this man is passing through, and all the others. We can be dancing, and we can be dancing all over the place, and we can be doing merry and be pretend as if nothing's happening.
It's sad. Right. I just keep repeating that. It's very, very sad, and it's very, very insensitive on the parts of our leaders. Okay, yes, you may not be able to postpone the elections or the processes leading up to the election.
We should be sober while we are doing it.
But we should be very, very sober. This is when the virtue of sobriety is quite needed, and we should be very, very empathetic towards both the victims and the relations of these people. And we should be seen to be doing everything possible to rescue them. We should be seen. We haven't seen anything, we haven't heard anything being done practically to rescue them.
All right, we are here. That is how we are revolving around the whole circle. Maybe After this, we'll hear another one will come, we'll run around it. Just as we were doing it, a major general who was going for Salah was abducted. We have not heard the last of it. So many things just happening. But we'll take a break now. When we come back, we go into the political activities within the political parties, and then we'll have our guests. Please don't go away. You are onto political platform, and we'll be back shortly.
Laws are forged and a nation's destiny is decided.
This is your parliamentary program, Inside the Parliament on AIT.
Voices rise, opinions clash, debates ignite.
We cannot be apologetic in the discharge of our constitutional duties as lawmakers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Must shift to INEC.
From the Senate to the House of Representatives, this is where policies are tested, laws are crafted, and authority is held to account.
We spoke to some lawmakers on their opinions of the document presented by the president.
Every motion, every argument carries the hopes of millions.
We need more hospitals, more health clinics in communities so that they can effectively take care of the primary health needs of people.
The questions are tough. The exchanges are intense.
Mr. President, you can have your way, but I will have my say. You can use the gavel, and I will use my voice.
And those who want the proviso are 55 in number. And so the proviso says.
But who truly stands for the people? Who is driving the change that defines our tomorrow?
GTBT, whatever.
Get the answers on Where Nigeria Decides on Inside the Parliament on AIT every Tuesday, 4:30 p.m.
Thank you for remaining with us on political platform. In the ADC and the NDC, things began quietly as these parties ran on what many people call the policy of affirmation, granting tickets to incumbents or those who joined the party first, as well as candidates preferred or favored by party leaders. You may recall our activist Aisha Yusufu accusing the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, and their leaders of undermining the selection process for the party's Federal Capital Territory FCT senatorial candidate, claiming that the processes were compromised against her. The recent outburst of former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF Babachalawa, against the ADC and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar was like a volcano erupting after tremendous pressure from within the party. In the APC, it wouldn't be surprising if the National Working Committee overturns some of the results that contestants have described as daylight robberies, running the primaries in various, running across the primaries in the various parts of the country. These complaints are running across all over. The chairman of the party, Professor Yewada, along with other party officials, are currently reviewing several petitions from aggrieved contestants. I hear that the party chairman is actually under pressure. Some city senators, including Nelda Imaswen, Edo South, Nendwoko, Delta North, Jubril Issa Echocho, Jubril is also known as Echocho, Kogi East, as well as several former current House of Representatives members and those serving are awaiting the decisions at the NWC, the National Working Committee of the APC. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we come to our guests, let's quickly take a look at the complaints. We already saw the high-wired allegations against Atiku Abubakar. He said that he used money to bulldoze himself. If you leave the ADC, you come to APC, several allegations have been mounted. Some people have filed petitions. We have interviewed some of them on this program.
Yes.
And if you go to even the NDC that is burdened, we say, oh, NDC is the one, there are complaints within. Like Mustafa said, Abi Uju said just now, it's like we have not grown our democracy to a point where even internal workings of the party, it cannot be trusted.
Yes, when you talk about NDC, APC, ADC, I said it the other day, and our guess was a bit upset. But the same people moved from here to here to here. And so I really do not see a total overhaul of what used to be. But I would also like to believe that with some of the things that the NDC has done, the NDC might be a bit different, and because of the pedigree of some of the leaders. But I haven't quite seen that. In fact, I am a bit disappointed right now because we're beginning to hear the same things, even though it promised to be very different. And when he came up with that nomination exemption until you get your ticket, we hailed them, but we haven't seen anything beyond that. I think that these political parties should allow internal democracy to thrive. That's why the larger democracy is not thriving, because from the party structure, from the party system, from the party angle, nothing is really going. You know, the process is not clean. The process is not credible.
Is it because, Mustafa, is it because Nigerians left these parties alone? We are now hearing figures of 11 million members of APC. Is that encouraging some people? Some people
it's
say
a question of when the good people are not talking, are not participating, then you allow the evil ones to take over. And then secondly, in terms of the allegations of using money for election or during electioneering.
You know who is not even using money now?
Of course, you have to pay for logistics. But then when there's too much poverty in the land, you know, a lot of them have been using money, you know, to woo or outrightly buy, including the person who made an allegation against Atiku Abubakar that he used money. It's a question of a pot calling the kettle black or kettle calling the pot black. Because for a very long time, we even knew about Ghana must go back that landed in the center of the House of Representatives, because the Nigerians think they can buy off everyone. And Nigerians are willing to accept such monies, to give you what you want.
Yeah, but it pollutes.
It's a monetized politics.
It pollutes. Because you see, I hear people say, collect the money and vote your conscience.
Okay, now let's come back to this issue.
I said, no, you should not encourage people to collect money, and because there's a way it will pollute you, and you will
during the COVID-19, we've seen how Italians and Spanish people are throwing money, a lot of money they have through the window. If Nigeria economically is so good that people have the basic necessities of life, little money and little income can buy all that they desire, there's no problem of unemployment which leads to crime. You will be at your home or office and people will bring money to buy you up for political or whatever reason, and then you can throw the money on their face because you don't need it. What are you going to do with it?
Our followership is as guilty as the leadership.
It is a big problem.
Because they are the ones...
I think one day we will discuss this followership.
Exactly,
because sometimes we also believe we are pointing fingers at people who are out there. But what are we doing as followers?
I know a lot of people who, if they don't get anything from politicians, no matter how good that man is, they will not. Remember when we keep saying, oh, if the good men keep away, things get bad. Remember when Gamaliel Onosode and a few good men wanted to get into politics. What happened? The same followership frustrated them. The leadership also frustrated them.
All right. I have quite a number of people, friends, who say when they attempted to go in there, they didn't have money for canopies. They didn't have money to buy drinks. They didn't have money to give to leaders. They didn't have money to give to traditional rulers. So they thought their pedigree, they were just good enough. They can go, they want to serve. Say no. But in Nigeria, that is enough. That's enough. Well, our guest today is Dachung Bagos, a former member of the House of Representatives from the APC in Plateau State. We attempted bringing him in the last time, but we are happy that he's here physically with us. Yeah. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Former ranking member.
Morning. How did you get through how did you navigate to be able to... Is anybody complaining against you who has filed a petition against you?
Yeah, well, I don't know for now. Maybe the NWC will tell us. But navigate, will I say navigate? Well, I went through the process and we contested. People came out and I got my support from the people as usual. So.
And when I look at your face, I look at somebody who has been a victim of the system. Because the last time you won and you won your ticket to go to the House of Representatives. the Court of Appeal delivered a ruling which the Supreme Court later overturned. Why did you not go to the Court of Appeal for a review?
Not just winning, but we were sworn in.
Sworn in, yeah.
Yeah, we were sworn in as members and senators from Plateau, as you can recall. But we were all removed, and the appeal court, which was the final court for
After that time, yes.
for House of Representatives and National Assembly entirely, upheld the judgment of the tribunal, so we couldn't go further. And review, there were people that went for review, and they were even fined for reviewing the system, the judgment. So why will I go for review as well?
Unfortunately, the governor went above. The other people who could go above went to the Supreme Court, and they were validated.
Yeah, if you know, even the governor was removed by the appeal court, so he have to go up. So had it been we had the opportunity to go up,
to the Supreme Court,
we could have gotten a better judgment.
But you are, I wouldn't say lucky. You have worked very hard, patiently, and you are back on the ballot now.
Well, that's politics.
Yeah.
4 years is just like 2 years.
Happen?
So now we're ready for the next.
Yeah, there were also complaints all over the place, including Plateau State. How are we dealing? How is your party dealing? What the temperature you are gauging? Some people are jumping out. Omo Agege has already jumped out, angry enough. We have Ned Woko sitting on the edge of the seat, also in Delta. We have even city senators like Ned Daima, they are all angry that things didn't work the way they are. In Kogi, we have a Chocho. Who is Jubri complaining, and there's a lot of complaining in your party about this issue.
For Plateau, I can tell you that synergy of understanding is there. Not that there is no rancor. The rancor is there, but the governor and the national chairman, who happens to be from Plateau, are putting their heads together to see how we can bring everybody to the table. And but for what is happening across and in the country, and even with other parties, I would like us to look at this discussion in different perspectives, and knowing very well that Nigeria, we are looking at democracy 27 years now. But 27 years now, have we had policies that will shape in democracy for that 27 years? Absolutely no. And that's why we are where we are today. And that's why you see the same problem in all different political parties, because every policy that had to shape democracy usually ends after every 4 years. We have had the electoral amendment. It has gone. The next assembly will still want to amend what did not work for some of them now, just like you hear some people are already clamoring for
an amendment
of the electoral, for transmission of result, which because it did not favor them. So how could we and how can we now have a policy and a system that whether it favors you or it did not favor you, let it be a policy that will be there for the next 15 years.
Is it not?
That will be, so that by so doing, we'll be getting it right time after time. Now it's the direct primaries and consensus. It did not favor some people. I can tell you in the next assembly, a lot of people will clamor that we should remove
consensus.
Yeah, we should remove either consensus or direct primaries. So what can we really get? What can we really get right in this country as in democracy? So that has been the problem. That's why you have seen the problem in every political party. But for me, going forward is what are those possible solutions? And those possible solutions is what are the discussions that people like you will be able to proffer. And again, having a listening government that will be able to understand that, look, we need a solution.
I will want to ask this question. Would the National Assembly in Nigeria, you're going back to the Assembly, right? Would the National Assembly in Nigeria be bold enough in its amendment of the various laws and acts, bring about changes such as independent candidacy?
If you had followed my discussion in the National Assembly from 2019, I was one of the people that were supporting the independent candidature because I know what that will be. And because whether we like it or not, we must give people options. Nigeria with over 200 million people need options. Let's try different options. Like we are clamoring on insecurity. We have been talking about state police for the past 15, how many years?
Every time.
Now we're looking at the issue of state police. So independent candidature will reduce a lot of pressure, even if people did not get it as independent candidates. They will know that, look, we now have a voice, we now have an opportunity.
So what are your colleagues afraid of? What are they afraid of that they're not okaying independent candidates?
It's all about numbers. So I don't know what they are afraid of, but me, I'm not afraid of.
Is it even fear, Uju? Is it even fear? Is it not a collaboration between the executive and those in the National Assembly, a few of them who have influence, and they sit down in the meeting somewhere and say, look,
and
this
decide
is not,
what is good for the country.
This is not good for us.
You see, in Nigeria, why most of these institutions and policies usually don't get through the way we want it to get. In developed countries like the US, I'll give an example with the US. Democracy in the US, especially in the capital where you have the Congress, is being shaped by lobbyists. So here, just like you said, some people sit down and decide. But here there you have civil society. Yeah. You have people that lobby. I observed Congress.
Economic group.
I observed Congress one day in Capitol. And at the gallery, I saw people in different categories. Those that are opposing a certain bill and those that are in support. All of them were in the gallery, and lobbyists were following members one by one. Look, wow. And they could tell you that, look, we already have the numbers to pass this bill. We already have this to be able to make this policy work. And if we can start taking democracy to that level that, look, your vote will count on a certain bill. Our vote, and I always said, look, your vote does not just count during election. Your vote should count during execution. Because your vote is not just on election day, but once you put in your vote, that your vote is for the next 4 years.
But I also say that most times there are executive interference, like this current National Assembly and its leadership are being accused of being a rubber stamp, that whatever that comes from the presidency
it's not even just being accused. We saw a situation, during
a
plenary, where the people were saying nay, and the presiding officer was hitting the gavel and just running through the
Do you think the assembly is not independent?
Yeah, you see, I am not part of this assembly, so I wouldn't know whatever politics that have happened there.
Yeah,
but one thing
that
we have clamored for during our time, and which we even did, we had a voters chip. Yeah. That most of the issues that have to do with women participation, most of the constitutional amendment, we all voted. We were moving around what a lobby is supposed to have done outside.
You were doing it.
But we were the ones doing it, going around and please vote for this thing, vote for this thing. And when the numbers came out, you saw it, it was there on the screen. That was what I experienced. But what is going on now, I don't know.
No, what is going on now is different. Like what would you try to explain? She's been covering the parliament for a long time. You will hear everybody, including those watching at home, will hear the loud voice, and the presiding officer will vote, will put the gavel on the other side.
It's usually at the interest of the presiding officer.
Yeah, because
there are one or two issues that have to do with some amendment even happen during our time.
Why don't we do electronic voting when it comes to issues like this? That's what many people are talking about. First, of course, the suspension of Fubara from office is one instance that brought this thing up. Why would the presiding officers allow electronic voting? I've covered the National Assembly before. I've seen them watch, and I see that, look,
you have seen them use the electronic voting. Exactly. I wonder what happened and why that was killed.
You see, when we were in the opposition, I can clearly tell you that we clamored for electronic voting as well. That, look, every single bill supposed to go through that voting. Now that we'll be in the House as majority, definitely we'll clamor for clarity of democracy.
Because allow some people
and participation as well.
Minorities should have a voice. But let's come back to the primaries we are talking about, because that's our the real challenge we have all over the place. What role is money playing in these primaries? You did one. I know you have spent your own personal money. There's no way, like Mustafa said, there's no way you will not spend money. Transportation, maybe entertainment, buy canopy, empowerment, and all those things. Is money taking the shine off credibility, substance, and those things that should make the people decide the person who can best represent them?
Yeah, I want us to look at it this way. Number one, money in politics. When I compare, because I did some comparison analysis in terms of spending of money in politics around the world, I can tell you what we're even spending here in Nigeria is not up to 1/3 of what some developed countries
What do they spend money in there?
So, but what took the shine? Like you said, money takes the shine. What is taking the shine in Nigerian politics is poverty. Because once the people are poor, no matter the talking they get, it changes their conscience.
The mindset.
Yeah, it changes their conscience and it changes their mindset. So what I can tell, if we are able and if we can be able to take our people out of the poverty line,
they can have their conscience.
They can have their conscience intact. If things are working the way it should work, people will have their conscience intact.
But you also
and so
are you sure? We're so used to free money in this country.
you also have a lot of National Assembly members that who after elected and being sworn in, they hardly come back home until...
because they know that during election, when they get back,
and I can tell you, most of them, if you see the social media, those that usually participate or don't usually go home, you see during campaign what they usually face from the people.
A lot of them get torn with shoes.
Actually, that's why constituency outreach as part of your oversight as a legislature is very key. That you need to have town hall meetings. You need to let your people know what is happening within the National Assembly. At the same time, what were your promises to the people during campaigns? And from 2015, a lot of things started changing in Nigerian political landscape. That again, in as much as you go home for money, people say, we don't want your money. We want, especially when the issue of insecurity get heightened up. People say, look, we can even contribute our money for you to go there as long as you're going to solve this issue of insecurity. So, and that's why you see that people, they turn over to National Assembly. It's not just even about the primaries. A lot of people that won their ticket today in different political parties, the real people that will be in National Assembly will be the ones that will be voted in or voted out during general elections. So celebrating even getting the tickets, all the rancor that you're seeing now, from experience on what I see, I usually have seen at the National Assembly, the turnover, most of them some don't even get tickets during general elections. So it depends on the win that will come. 2015, it was the Buhari win. 2023? It was the Obi...
Yes,
it was the Obi win.
Factor,
yeah. So now we don't know which of the win will change the narrative in the National Assembly.
We must go now. Just before we let you go, brother, I want to ask, how do we carry the people along? Because you see, when there's no confidence in the process, when leaders decide who they want and say, you stay aside, you are the one to go, you are not the one to go, and the party on it. So because the general public, those who are going to vote, don't have the opportunity of deciding the candidates. It's the parties that decide the candidate. Now, how do we have the public, the people, the voter in mind in this process? First of all, reducing the money that people pay to get in the nomination, and as well as the money that's distributed during elections. How do we get money out of our politics?
You see, good thing that I've seen that has happened with the electoral amendment is that everybody that decides on who becomes a leader now have to be a member of a political party.
Yes.
Which is a very good thing. So now, the mentorship of members with your ideology of a political party and understanding that, look, this is our manifesto, people believing in the political party, just like in the West, there are Democrats that, look, we are Democrats. in UK, you feel that I'm a conservative voter for life, like because he believed in that. So going forward, political parties need to really identify their true members and start sensitization, start training.
And
what is
ideology.
Yes?
Ideology is the key word.
Because what is the use of the of the PDP Democratic Institute? What is the use of the APC Progressive Institute? What is the use of NDC Institute? These institutes need to come into play. From there, leadership recruitment will come into place and mentorship. I can tell you that is our problem. Leadership recruitment, mentorship. Let me give an example with South Africa. Zuma is out of the system. You don't see Zuma, but I can tell you Zuma is doing a lot behind the scene, bringing up new leaders. So when the complaint we're having that is the same people in APC, they move from APC to PDP, till these our leaders that have done so well to build Nigerian democracy, take the backstage, start looking at who can we mentor with different ideology, move to the center stage, and the young ones that we see them say, oh no, today we have this young person that we have done extremely well, let's go and support him. But when the same face with the same ideology in all the political parties, that is why the young people that we are talking about, the next generation,
all right,
we don't believe in this system. So leadership recruitment and mentorship is one of the key issues that in politics we need to look into.
Thank you so much. We'll be talking with Honorable Bagos, from a former member of the House of Representatives who has now a ticket to contest the elections in a constituency in Plateau State. We want to thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
And your frankness in addressing our questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will take a break now. When we come back, we'll take our mails and then we'll wrap up.
Independent National Electoral Commission INEC ewepụtala ohere ka onye ọbụla nke na-enweghị kaadị iji vote nwee ya ngwa ngwa. Nke a bụ agba nke atọ ma bụrụkwa nke ikpeazụ. Ọ bụrụ na iru afọ 18 maọbụ karịa, ohere dịrị gị. Gaa na local government maọbụ steeti gị nweta kaadị iji to vote. Ọ bụrụ na ịkwapụla ebe ibi maọbụ na kaadị gị furu efu ma mebie, gaa na webụsaịtị a www.cvr.inecnigeria.org ka ha gwa gị ihe ị ga-eme. Atụmatụ a ga-amalite n'ụbọchị Mọnde abalị 11 nke ọnwa Mee, kwụsị n'ụbọchị Fraịde abalị 10 nke ọnwa Julaị 2026. BBC ma kaadị gị bụ ohere na ikike nwere iji soro tụnye vootu, rọpụta onye bụ ebumnobi gị kpọmkwem ga-achị ala anyị bụ Naịjirịa. Gaa n'ụlọ ọrụ ndị INEC, binye aka n'akwụkwọ ma see foto n'akụkụ ọbụla na Naịjirịa. Ozi a si n'aka ndị Independent National Electoral Commission mebere gị. Ọkwa eme ngwa ngwa emebiri ọdachi.
On political platform, let's go to our mailbox and then we'll harvest what you have for us and then we'll wrap up. Would you let's go on?
Yes, Owulabi Kayode from Auchi, Edo State says, one of the Nigerian authors said in his book, since the birds have learned to fly without perching, the hunter has learned to shoot without aiming. In the light of the worsening security crisis in the country, I suggest that the security forces should not adopt the strategy they used for staggered elections, such that any community where abduction takes place, such region is isolated and heavy deployment is made by all the various security agencies to comb the area, thereby putting unusual pressure on the criminal elements until they are apprehended. If this is done from one region to the other, it will put unimaginable heat on the so-called bandits. And the second one is from Emmanuel Nkama from Lagos. My heart bleeds and tears flow from my eyes regarding the ugly events in our country, Nigeria. Sadly enough, for almost 2 weeks now, scores of Oyo and Borno State students, including 2 to 3-year-old kids, are still in their captors' den. The cost of living of almost everything, especially food items and fuel, keep on rising unabatedly. All these and many more break my heart. Many Nigerians, especially the less privileged, are really going through hell due to hyperinflation and depleting purchasing power. Here is calling on President Tinubu to, as a matter of urgency, declare a state of emergency on insecurity and economic challenges to mitigate the sufferings of the masses, ensure the release of the innocent pupils, and others still in captivity, because we cannot continue like this.
And from Sango Ota, Ogun State, Aniefelt Ntia wrote to us, what really is stopping or making President Tinubu, the President of the Senate, Senator Akpabio, the IGP, talking about the Inspector General of Police, the federal government to delay the implementation of the state police and community policing? These are the same set of people that never delay approval of foreign loans borrowing. They did not delay changing the national anthem to old one with the assertion that we need a country where no man is oppressed. Yet, everyone is now under oppression of insecurity, hunger, harsh economic policies, poverty caused majorly by Tinubu's administration, and must be stopped now. President Tinubu must stop doing things to please the state governors to the detriment of the people. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And Eroator Noah from Yola, Adamawa State, writes, the disquiet currently being witnessed in one of the PDP factions caused by former President Goodluck Jonathan is uncalled for. The last time we heard from him publicly, he did say he was going to consult. There's nothing wrong if he comes out to openly declare his intention, whether or not he wishes to contest the next general elections in January. The consultation is taking eternity. His silence will continue to suggest that he is a spoiler, as I could feel your guests struggling to answer some of the questions thrown at him about the issue yesterday. My instinct, though may be wrong, suggests that Jonathan will not be contesting, and I wish it is so in order for him to continue to enjoy the global recognition and respect he currently has. And that's how we are going to be wrapping it up. We want to encourage you to keep up your mails to us through political platform at darkgroup.com on Citizens Perspective, so that we know how you are filling it out. On behalf of my colleagues right here in the studio, my name is Okiri Agbonsuremi. I urge you to keep a date with us tomorrow again for another episode of the program. Thank you.